This is a brief discussion on prosody, and this lecture is meant primarily for the undergraduate students. Now, what is prosody? Look at the board. Prosody means patterns of sounds and rhythm. Now, when we read or speak, we speak in a pattern of sounds. Especially when we read poetry, the rhythm depends on our way of speaking or producing patterns of sounds. So, the first thing that we keep in mind is point number one, that is articulation. Now, well, if you read a poem silently, there is no question of sound or pattern of sound. So articulation, meaning giving or using your vocal cord to read a poem, to read a verse. So articulation means modulation of speech. How do you modulate? The modulation, you know? Well, the sound goes up, the sound comes down. So articulation means modulation of speech, and with articulation or modulation of speech is connected time or quantity, or tone or accent. Accent means stress. So with modulation, what is connected? Time or quantity, meaning, well, how long do you articulate? Each sound you can articulate briefly, or you can prolong the sound effect. So that is time or quantity. And accent, tone means accent or stress or emphasis. And rhythm depends on both. So when we sing songs, what do? We deliberately prolong a sound or shorten a sound. So on the variation of prolonging the sound or shortening the sound depends the rhythm or the music, and emphasis or stress or accent. Very important. So that is the first thing. So what is the first thing connected with prosody? Articulation, which means modulation of speech, and with articulation or modulation of speech, two things are connected: time and tone. Time means quantity, meaning the space, meaning how long you pronounce or how briefly you pronounce, and tone means accent or stress. And as I said, rhythm depends on both. Now number two, we come to second point, syllable, because a syllable is stressed or is left unstressed, and on that depends the rhythm or the pattern of sound. So what is a syllable? The syllable is the smallest unit of pronunciation. So it can be a single syllable word. For example, put. Put. It is a single syllable word. Now, well, one more thing I should remind you, that syllable is the smallest unit that we can pronounce in one breath. Take another word, for example, beautiful. So, well, you have to note that this word has more than one syllable. Beautiful. So that means it has three syllables. Beautiful. beautiful. And as I said, cut, put. These are one single syllable words. So beautiful. Now it has 3 syllables. How do you pronounce it? Beautiful. Meaning beau is stressed. And the other 2 syllables, T and full, they are left unstressed. Beautiful. So in this pattern we have the rhythm of a paragraph or a verse stanza. So this is the first step. We have talked of a syllable, and now I shall talk of foot. Because, well, for ascertaining the meter, we have to understand the system of pausing and moving. As we read or as we sing, we have to pause now and then. And each pause is called a foot. So foot, what is foot? Foot is the basic unit of measurement of accented syllabic meter. So please note once again, it is the basic unit of measurement of accented syllabic meter. So as I said, we have to pause now and then, and this pause is very, very important for the rhythm. As for music, we need the pause, this pause, and this is called the foot. After 2 or 3 syllables, we pause, and that pause creates the ultimate effect of the meter, the syllabic meter, as it is written over there. The syllabic meter is ascertained by this measurement, which is a pause, which is a foot. Foot is actually a pause. Within the line, it is a bigger line, and within the line there may be several feet. Foot 1, foot 2, foot 3, and so on. And as I say, each foot suggests a pause. Now I shall be discussing in detail presently, but then let me tell you, let us take a very simple line. Say, the curfew tolls the knell of parting day. It's a very famous poem by Thomas Gray, elegy written in a country churchyard. Now what is the line? The curfew tolls the knell of parting day. But how do we read the line? Can we read the line without pausing? The curfew tolls the knell of parting day. Well, it will create no music. It will have no metrical effect on us at all. So we have to pause. The curfew tolls the knell of parting day. And well, as we pause, the pause indicates a foot. How many pauses are there? How many feet are there? It can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 4, it can be 5, even more. And calculation of meter will be accordingly. Now, well, there are in English prosody, there are 5 meters: trochaic, iambic, dactylic, anapestic, amphibrach. Now, there is a mistake. I just correct it. Now once again, as I said, that there was a mistake and I have corrected it. Dactylic, anapaestic, amphibrachic. So, well, I have made two categories. I am trochaic and iambic. I have written 2 over here. And these 3, dactylic, anapaestic, amphibrachic, I have written 3 over here. So why 2? Because in iambic and trochaic, in each foot we have 2 syllables. Well, so in dactylic, anapaestic and amphibrachic, in each foot we have 3 syllables. And as I told you that normally, I tell you, please understand, please remember, normally in a foot there is only one stress. Only one syllable will be stressed and the other 2 will remain unstressed. Once again I remind you, normally, because in exceptional cases there may be a variation. It may be that none of the syllables is stressed, or it may be that both are stressed, but these are not regular cases. In regular cases, in trochaic and iambic, of the 2 syllables, one will be stressed and the other unstressed. And in dactylic, anapaestic and amphibrachic, 3 syllables, and of 3, only one will be stressed and the other 2 will remain unstressed. Now please remember what I mean by stress. Stress means emphasis. It's not that the other 2 are not pronounced, they will be pronounced, but the emphasis will be given on only one. Once again I remind you, trochaic and iambic, two syllables are there. Dactylic and anapaestic and amphibrachic, 3 syllables in each foot. So 2 and 3. Now for today I will just take up only these 2, trochaic and iambic, and in the subsequent lecture I will be taking up these 3, dactylic, anapaestic and amphibrachic. So let us begin with trochaic. Now look at the board. I shall begin with trochaic. Trochaic, well, I told you in iambic and trochaic we have 2 syllables in one foot. But I begin with trochaic, and in trochaic the first syllable is stressed and the second is unstressed. Meaning the first syllable is emphasized, or the emphasis is on the first syllable, and on the second syllable the emphasis is not there. Now look at this please. Tiger. You can understand 2 syllables are there. Tiger. Tiger. So tiger. Burning. Bright. So look at this. So tiger. Tiger. Burning. Bright. Look at this. Tiger. You can understand the first is stressed. Tiger. Not gar, but tiger. Tiger. Burning. Burn, not ing. Bright. So look at this. Tiger. Tiger. Burning. Bright. You can understand the rhythm? Once again. Tiger. Tiger. Burning. Bright. So the first syllable is stressed and the second is unstressed. Tie, stressed, gar, unstressed. So tiger, trochaic, burning, trochaic. But what about this? Bright, only one syllable. What about this? Now when these may be called a variation. So there is a rule. I'll be talking about the rule just now, but there is a rule. If the last foot is unpaired, meaning if the last foot remains as a single unit, we call it catalectic. Catalectic, C-A-T-A-L-E-C-T-I-C, catalectic. So tiger, tiger, burning, these three, perfect. Stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed. But the fourth one, bright, stressed, but where is the unstressed one? No. So this is catalectic. So tiger, tiger, burning, bright, trochaic, although catalectic. Now, in the forest of the night, same. In stressed, the not stressed. For stressed, rest no. Unstressed. Of stressed, the unstressed. Night, unpaired, catalectic. So in the forest of the night, tiger, tiger, burning bright, in the forest of the night. So these two lines, you see, well, perfect trochaic, but in both the lines, the final foot is catalectic. I told you what the foot is. So the primary measurement. We have to pause, I told you. We have to pause. In each pause we will consider a foot. So tiger, one foot. Tiger, second foot. Burning, third foot. Bright, unfinished foot. Unfinished, therefore catalectic. Second line also same. In the forest of the night, same. And another example I'll give you, trochaic of trochaic. See, well, very, very famous nursery rhyme. But these two lines you all know, taken from William Blake's very famous poem, The Tiger. Many of you have read the poem. All of you have read the poem, I suppose. And this is a nursery rhyme, all of you know. See, same. Twinkle, twinkle, little, it should be little, little star. So twinkle, twinkle, little star, twinkle, twinkle, little star. Just a second, well, let me correct it. So twinkle, twinkle, little star. In a similar way, stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, and then the final foot is incomplete. So twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. How I wonder what you are. So twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Well, perfect example of trochaic. Although in both the cases, well, we shall have to say that the lines are catalectic because the last foot is incomplete. But what is trochaic? I tried to tell you, and I think you have understood that in a trochaic meter we have two syllables in a foot, and of the two syllables, the first one is stressed and the second is unstressed. So, tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night. Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night. Similarly, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. So this is trochaic. And now I shall move on to iambic. So now we come on to the next one from trochaic. We come on to iambic. I told you that in both trochaic and iambic we have two syllables in each foot. In trochaic we have seen that of the two syllables the first one is stressed and the second is unstressed. And in iambic it is just the opposite. The first one is unstressed and the second one is stressed. So, well, if you look at the first two lines, the car, look at this, the curfew tolls the knell of parting day. Look at this, the car, this is the footmark, you know, these lines are the foot, well, you know, these lines indicate the foot. The car, the unstressed, car stressed. The curfew tolls the knell of parting day. The car, unstressed, stressed. Few tolls, unstressed, stressed. The knell, unstressed, stressed. Parting, you know, parting. It has been divided into two parts. Parting of part of unstressed, part stressed. Parting day. See, the lowing herd wind slowly o'er the lea. The low, the unstressed, low stressed, ing unstressed, ing herd, ing unstressed, herd stressed. Wind, slow, wind unstressed, slow stressed, lee o'er. Not over, you know. If it is over, then, well, you know, the pattern will be lost. So o single syllable, it becomes, if it is over, then it would have been double syllable. But well, it is o, the poet has done it o, therefore single syllable. Wind slowly o'er the lea. So perfect example of iambic. And well, you know, well, there is no catalectic or there is no acipherous. You can see, well, now you can see one thing, you know, how many feet are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1 will be mono, 2 means D, number 3 means tree, 4 means tetra, 5 means penta. So 5 means penta. So iambic pentameter. Perfect example of iambic pentameter. The curfew tolls the knell of parting day. Second line, the lowing herd wind slowly o'er the lea. So, example of perfect iambic pentameter. Why penta? Because 5 feet are there. As I said, once again I repeat, mono means 1, D means 2, tree means 3, tetra means 4, penta means 5. Now, look at the, well, you know, I have written the same line twice here. Look at this. Tell me not in mournful, tell me not in mournful numbers. Well, it could have been like this. Tell me not in mournful numbers, or it could have been tell me not in mournful numbers. So it is an example of trochaic, you see. Tell me not in mournful numbers. See, Iambic is trochaic. Tell me not in mournful numbers. See, unstressed, stressed. You see here, stressed, unstressed. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, trochaic tetrameter. This is iambic penta, this will be trochaic tetrameter. Now, why have I written the same line twice? So, while scanning a passage, perhaps there may be at times differences of opinion. Now, it all depends on how we read the line. So if you read the line like this, tell me not in mournful numbers, perfect. But if we read like this, tell me not in mournful numbers, in mournful numbers. Now, well, some people will say, well, this is perfect. Tell me not. That will be an anapaestic. Well, the first foot is anapaestic. This will be perfect. Some people may say, now, well, of course, well, it will be better to have the first line as I have done it. But there may be, what I mean to suggest is that there may be, well, differences of opinion. Not only that, there will be variations. So, iambic may have the variation of anapaestic. Trochaic may have the variation of iambic, and so on. Because, please remember that when a poet writes a poem, he doesn't open the book and he doesn't compose according to, well, looking at the pages of the book and remembering the rhyme scheme or the rhyme pattern. Well, he frames his stanzas like that. This can never be. In fact, it is always the other way around. The poet composes, and while analyzing, we have given these names. So the poet definitely can make variations in rhythm. So in music also, as you know that, well, there can be mixture of different ragas. So not a composition may not be a composition of a single raga. I mean, in Indian classical music. So similarly, well, there may be variations. And these are two examples. The previous one I just gave you some minutes back. And this one is the example of trochaic meter. And these two lines, example of iambic meter. Previously I gave you examples of trochaic. So these two I wanted to do for today. So iambic and trochaic and iambic. Trochaic, the first two examples I gave you, and this is an example, the first two lines, an example, perfect example of iambic pentameter, taken from Thomas Gray's famous poem, Elegy, written in a country churchyard. So before I end, I remind you once again that, well, the primary thing is your reading. You understand the poem and read the poem and try to follow the music in your ear, the music, the curfew. So if you make, well, if you alternate it, if you pronounce like this, the curfew blows the nail of in the, well, it will be atrocious, and you understand that the reading is wrong. So if the reading is correct, then the music will be produced. The curfew tolls the knell of birthing day. So everything depends on how you read. how you understand the poem. And when you perfectly, correctly read the poem, you can understand well the pattern of rhyme. For today, I shall stop here. Thank you very much.